Welcome everyone. Today is the full moon of Capricorn. Today we will start with reading from the book Wisdom of the Zodiac by Torquem Seredarian Sir, and from the chapter and from the chapter Capricorn three
Capricorn.
tasks. Please mute
Please mute.
Rajkumar Chaturvedi. Can you please mute? Good. So, I will be reading this chapter, try to understand this, and then we will be meditating at the end. Chapter 13 Wisdom of the Zodiac by Torquem Seredarian Sir. Capricorn energy has three tasks. One task is to challenge a person to come in contact with his higher self. This energy activates those hidden centers within the person's aura which eventually prompt and urge him to come in contact with his higher self. The second task is a little more difficult. Capricorn energy challenges and inspires a person to come in contact with his teacher. The third task is to make human beings strive to come in contact with the Father in heaven, the spark within each individual, also known as the center where the will of God is known. We are told that these three tasks are not easy. We think that Capricorn, the mountain goat, can easily jump and climb, but we are not aware of the many difficulties through which it must pass. It often breaks its legs, sometimes it kneels down, and sometimes slides down. Sometimes larger animals attack and eat it. It is very difficult to climb these three mountain tops. The first mountaintop is to come in contact with the higher self. It is very difficult to receive guidance from inside. The second mountaintop is to come in contact with the teacher. This is very critical. The third mountaintop is to come in contact with the Father within, the true self. 1. So Capricorn energy first reveals the higher self. What happens when a person comes in contact with his higher self? The first sign is that he decides to shape himself. Secondly, the light hits his consciousness and makes him realize how many things he needs to change in his behavior, emotions, body, and consciousness. This is very difficult task and it creates crisis. For example, his body, emotions, and mind rebel. They say, we don't want to change. The body says, leave me alone. Let me sleep until 10 o'clock. Let me drink, let me drug myself, let me swear, let me curse. We must fight against this and it is not easy. A person's friends, family members, employer, and environment fight against him when he decides to shape himself. Additionally, all his subconscious trash tries to stop him. People think that he is insane when he starts shaping himself. The other day, a man said to me, I decided to shape myself, but it cost me my job. When I asked what happened, he said, the boss was instructing us on how to manipulate people and I didn't like it. I said, boss, I want to shape myself. This is the wrong way to conduct business. He said, get out. So I lost my job because I wanted to shape myself. You will lose your friends and even your family members the moment you start to shape yourself. There is a great crisis with waiting behind such a decision. Sometimes you even become your own enemy. You say, who is it that wants to change? I don't want to change. Capricornian energy gives you the spirit of striving to undertake such a major task, regardless of the resistance coming from your lower self. This energy helps you resist and try to overcome until you eventually achieve contact with your higher self. Once you are in the spotlight of the higher self, you feel very uncomfortable. You see that every thought you have, every emotion and action that you have are either for or against shaping yourself. Sometimes you make many mental mistakes and mistakes in your speech and actions. This impresses you to such a degree that sometimes you cannot even sleep or digest your food properly because you feel so uncomfortable. These are just some of the crises involved in the decision to shape yourself. But if you give yourself to the currents of these energies, eventually you will see that some very great tide is assisting you and propelling your boat over the waves toward your goal. There is no struggle. You just show readiness and decisiveness, and the currents of energies take you to your destination. Then you come in contact with the teacher. It is sometimes a horrible task to have a teacher. What will happen? For example, you are going to lose your ego. People think that it is easier to lose their heads than their egos. When your head is cut off, you are rid of it. But when your ego is cut, you continuously suffer. If you are tied to it, the first operation the teacher performs is the surgical removal of your ego. Many people, especially those who are intellectually advanced with diplomas and degrees, often do not accept such surgery. A real teacher gives them a very hard time in order to kill and destroy their ego. The ego is an image which you build for yourself. You dwell in it and it continually grows for 1,000 years. What does the ego do? It tries to manipulate everything in the universe in order to poof up, to enlarge itself. The ego must be destroyed if you want to progress. The teacher helps you destroy the ego that you have built. The ego is built from our childhood until our later years. Our wives, husbands, friends, and family members build it by telling us that we are magnificent human beings. Ego can be destroyed only by a teacher. This is why in ancient schools it is taught that the best teacher is one who causes you more suffering. A real teacher cannot be loved. You cannot feel comfortable with him. If you feel comfortable with your teacher, he is not your teacher and you are not his student. We saw this in the monasteries. For example, I remember very clearly the time that I wrote a poem and read it aloud. 500 people applauded me. I pooped up and was so happy. But when I looked at my teacher, he made a face and said, yuck. I went to my room really broken. Then I examined myself and said, what was so great that you poofed up so much? Was it a silly poem? Or if those 500 people applauded you, so what? I tried to break the ego, but only because of the help of my teacher. If I had not seen his face, his eyes, and heard his yuck, I would have been like a balloon floating everywhere. Dr. Anju, you can, or anyone can take from here. I can't get your voice. You have to unmute. Shivdasini ji, can you go on?
Yes. Yeah, I'm going on. Just a minute. Let me go back. Yeah. The next day, I would have gone to class saying, here I am. Instead, the next day, I sneaked into class like a little cat and sat there quietly. My friend said, your poetry was good and you did beautifully. Yuck, I said, losing the ego is very painful. Another occasion, I dressed very well because I was going to play the violin before an audience. My teacher saw me and said, are you going to play well? Yes, I will do my best, I told him. You look very nice, he said, but I have news for you. The geese need water and cleaning. Change your clothing and leave your violin here. You're not going to play today. Serve the geese instead. I immediately obeyed because there was no other way, whether I liked it or not. I gave the geese a nice lecture. We found the right time to be hungry and dirty, didn't we? They were waiting for me. When I finished, I went to my room and asked myself why my teacher did this. I was out of balance because I was so happy, so light, so big because I was going to do something important. One must have a teacher who squeezes him like a lemon and tells him how obnoxious and stupid his ego is. Can you stand that? If not, you're carrying your ego and vanity with you, and that vanity and ego will not let you transcend yourself. Capricorn energy stands only for surprising yourself, transcending yourself. Every year, try to be someone new. If you look sincerely at the past year, you will say, I was so stupid and ugly, and I don't even want to look at myself. I'm changing so beautifully now. After doing this for 2 or 3 years, you will be amazed at how beautiful you're becoming. Why do, why do these things? By changing and transcending yourself, you meet your requirements, your needs, your commands, and you finish your schooling on this planet. Eventually, you will approach graduation. If you want to graduate from this planet, these matters must be taken seriously. If you do not want to graduate, then you can continue to suffer in greater pollution, earthquakes, and so on. You can continue your shallow life and make your ego and vanity your own refuge. Meeting a teacher is a very dangerous thing, but when he takes action, it is even worse. If you're not really a disciple in your heart, you cannot endure the difficulties that your teacher will give you. He will dunk you in hot water and throw you in the cold water. He will take you to the top of the mountain and toss you in the cellar. You will not know what is happening until you get rid of yourself and trust in ego. A great master was asked, who enters the temple of the Most High? The answer is very beautiful, but one must meditate upon it to find the real significance of it. He replied, those who left themselves behind. When a person says, this is my hospital, this is my bank, this is my doctor, this is my house, my, he feels as if he's really somebody now. How can we leave ourselves behind? Only a nasty teacher can help a person do this, if the person allows it. If one does not allow it, he will just continue his current path and eventually find himself in the state of degeneration. Ego and vanity are the seeds of degeneration within our body and psychology. The third step is also very important and difficult. Capricorn energy slowly takes a person to a level of consciousness where he begins to make contact with his true self. Speaking about this contact, the Tibetan master calls it the burning ground. The true burning ground is contacting the monad, the true self, the energy of Shambhala. This contact burns everything that is against one's future glory and achievement. The burning process may start physically, it may start emotionally or mentally, but eventually it puts the diamond in which ancient religions call Christ in you, the hope of glory. Capricorn creates and builds Christ consciousness, which is a real center within you that comes into being when you start climbing the mountain of your dreams, visions, and achievements. So you must be ready to face many dangers. People will not recognize you. This may throw you out of their homes. People will not respect you because at this point you appear weird to them. This is why Christ said those who are walking toward the kingdom of God are considered insane by average people. The same thing happened to Noah when he started building the ark. He said, look at that stupid man. What is he doing building an ark in the mountains? There are not any oceans or even lakes nearby. What is he going to do with an ark? But when the rain started, they knew why he did what he did. You must build such a center within yourself that will allow you to survive in critical times. Signs of contact. What is the sign that you're coming in contact with your higher self? One sign is that you see yourself as you are. This is extremely difficult to do. No human being can easily see himself as he is. He adds a lot of pluses or minuses. He cannot see exactly what he is with the help of his friends and teachers. However, he will develop the ability to see himself. Once a person once a person sees himself exactly as he is, he will progress because such an experience is a sign that he has come in contact with his higher self. The higher self is symbolized by a great mirror, a mirror that penetrates into one's psychology, into the depth of his beingness, showing him exactly what he is. In the Capricorn cycle, these kind of experiences are easier to have if a person is together, full of aspiration and with a desire to transcend himself. This time of the year is his chance. He can approach himself and see exactly what he is, as if he was standing in the front of a mirror and seeing how he was dressed. He will be able to see that certain things must be changed in his clothing, hairdo, makeup, and so on. One must do the same thing when he sees his image in the higher self. If he does not like what he sees, this is the chance for him to change himself. To come in contact with the higher self is a greater opportunity given to a human being. Sometimes sit and ask for it, search for it, and ask, have I come in contact with my higher self? What is the proof of it? The proof is that you start shaping yourself. You will make decisions and plans to shape yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, and in your relationships. What are the signs that you have come in contact with your teacher?
Can I continue, Shivdasini?
Yeah. Have I reached 8? Okay, I'm on
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. What are the signs that you have come in contact with your teacher? Number one who has contact with the higher self and needs to come in contact with his teacher must be ready before the teacher will appear to him. The teacher may be someone in his business, in his political system or economy. The teacher may be one's own wife or husband. Whomever, wherever, or whenever, the teacher will shape him and help him shape himself. If such a teacher comes, accept him. Second, the second sign is humility. Humility means to consider yourself a vacuum and your teacher as everything that exists for you. If you are full, your teacher cannot put anything in your bottle. Self renunciation is a part of this process. I remember when a man brought his son to my teacher and said, "Leave the bones of this boy to me. The rest is for you." That boy became a masterpiece, and he is now living in India as a great Sufi master. He was my friend. He obeyed and kept his humility, obedience, and sincerity. The third sign that you're really in contact with your teacher is a great feeling of gratitude. In cases I have seen where people express ingratitude to the light and direction that their teacher gives to them, it is interesting how they immediately become sidetracked, then fall down and roll into the mud. Eventually, they disappear. Gratitude is the inner tie by which you appreciate the guidance that is given to you. One year in the monastery during Christmas, a group of us ordered a gold and diamond ring for our teacher. The ring was to be ready in time for the Christmas party, where we were going to present it to him. The jeweler said that it would not be finished until 6 o'clock that evening. So at 3 o'clock, three of us dressed and started out on horseback into the mountains towards the town. The snow was 3 or 4 feet deep, and we had to ride hard to get to the jeweler's on time. We arrived just in time, got the ring, and then immediately started back to the monastery. In the meantime, the other students were waiting and wondering what was holding us up. The teacher was deeply concerned and asked, "Where are these 3 boys?" The others said, "They will be here. They are safe," because they did not want to reveal the secret. We finally made it back to the monastery at about 9 o'clock that evening. I rode my horse straight into the temple, jumped down to hug my teacher's neck, and then gave him the ring, saying, "Merry Christmas." He said, I will never forget this ring because three of you endangered your lives to give it to me. You are my disciples and you have proven it. The fourth sign of contact with your teacher is to prove to your teacher that you are ready to make great sacrifices for him because of his guidance. The fifth sign is total sincerity. When you speak with your teacher, you must be totally open. The other day, a man came to receive counseling from me because he said he was undergoing many difficulties and problems. But to every question I asked, he answered, everything is fine. Finally, I asked him, why did you come here? He replied, I came here because I have trouble. But no matter what I did, he would not say anything other than to say that everything was fine and beautiful. He said that everything was good at home and in his business. He had no sincerity. A person who is sincere can be helped. Without sincerity, one cannot be helped. What is the sign that one has made contact with his true self? Am I audible?
Yeah. Yes, we can hear you.
The main sign that a person has come in contact with the center where the will of God is known is total dedication to his vision. Nothing can stop him or hinder him. People may ask him what he is doing and tell him that his vision is a total hallucination, but this does not matter to him because the is his own true self, his highest glory. This is the vision that absorbs him. As a person walks towards his vision, he becomes the vision itself. He does not need proof because he is becoming the vision itself. Those who really aspire towards greatness, to become great servers in the universe, do not need proof of the goal they pursue because they are themselves the goal. The goal is their true self. As they go towards their true self, they become that self. This process of becoming their true self is all the proof they need. The challenge of Capricorn is in these three tasks. We can start from the time of the full moon and on the Christmas day make a very sincere resolution to come in contact with something greater in ourselves from whatever our current level is. One can come in contact with greater qualities within himself by thinking, dreaming, asking, praying, and meditating. One who is ready to come in contact with his higher self can make himself ready in three ways. A. By concentrating his life on a great goal and vision. B. By learning how to sacrifice himself. C. By becoming totally inclusive. If you do these three things, a chance will be given to you, especially in the Capricornian cycle, to come in contact with your higher self, with your teacher, and with your innermost center within you. And that is the Capricorn story. The goal is to make ourselves glorious human beings. Human beings are full of pain, suffering, disaster, natural catastrophes. We are like bugs living on this planet. But there is a way to be glorious. And the glorious ones are examples. They have achieved and we can achieve. So, Capricorn inspires us to climb the mountain of our vision. Try to do that.
Thank you so much. Now,
So, now we have the meditation part.
thank you so much, Dr. Anju and Dr. Shivdasini. This meditation is very simple, and in this, we will be saying the great invocation, and then we will be saying Om, and then we will be visualizing a mountain, and we are climbing on the mountain, and then at the top of the mountain, we will sit and think about how to shape ourselves. Okay, how to shape ourselves. That means what are the changes we have to make within ourselves, physically, emotionally, mentally, so that we can have contact with our inner teacher, inner guru, or the higher self. The third thing we are going to do is to imagine a mountain and climb the mountain and reach to the top, sit on the top of the mountain and think, how can I shape myself? Is it so easy? How can I shape myself? Be very sincere, don't deceive yourself, don't flatter yourself, don't bribe yourself. Say, do I need shaping? And what am I going to do to shape myself to be a little better human being. That is all we need to do. Just a second, I'm just charging. Yes. So, relax, close your eyes, be very comfortable, and have a nice smile on your face. Let us say the great invocation. Visualize it as you say it. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men. The purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out. And may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Let us now sound 3 ohms. Now visualize a mountain and start climbing to the top. Sit at the top of the mountain and think, how can I shape myself with my family, with my friends? What needs to be changed? Try to find 5 things to change. You can make a note of these 5 things to change. Now visualize a light coming from the sky and you are sitting in the light. Let the light penetrate into your brain, body, everywhere in your aura, as if you were sitting in the spotlight. See that you are turning slowly into light. Make it very dramatic and real. Now see a beam of light hitting you, making you to shine, healing your mind, emotions, body, and creating harmony and beauty. Now let us say the following mantram. Please repeat after me. More radiant than the sun, purer than the snow, subtler than the ether, is the self, the spirit within my heart. I am that self, that self am I. Let us say Om. Thank you. Thank you very much. Today we have read from the chapter
Thank you.
Capricorn 3 Tasks from the book Wisdom of the Zodiac by Torquem Seradarin sir, and we have also meditated. Hope you have enjoyed this session of book reading and meditation. Thank you so much, and we will join once again. Please take care. Namaste.